Don't be scared of that repo. Repos don't mean shit. I've had 3 repos. They'll finance you every single time, babe.
Y'all ever get y'all car repoed? Cause like this my first time ever like dealing with like financial hardship so bad my car get repoed.
Someone on TikTok said that her car got repoed even though she made all on-time payments. How is that even possible? One of the main reasons why people get repos is not because they can't afford the payment, it's because they...
All right, we're going to be watching today a lot of people who are not able to keep up with their car payments and are having their cars repossessed. I think this works a little bit with the video I made on people not saving money for their retirement. If you're unable to pay for your car payment, you're probably not able to save for retirement. And most of the time, it seems like people are just buying cars that they are not able to afford in the first place. So this is why they're getting repossessed. We have a lot of videos to get through today. So sit down, grab a drink, get a snack, and let's go. When you walk out of work and your car got repossessed, some people are giving tips on how you can prevent your car from being repossessed. I used to hide my car behind a tree at work. LMAO, this actually happened to me before and I cried, then called the police to report it stolen. And they were like, ma'am, it was repossessed. They got me when I was at church. I didn't even walk back in. I just kept walking right to the bus stop. Oh no. See, this is what happens when you're not paying for your payments.
One of the main reasons why people get repos is not because they can't afford the payment, it's because they bought a high mileage car that was out of warranty, they declined the service contract so they have no warranty on it, and then something went wrong with the car. A lot of people that come to the dealership, when something goes wrong on the car and they got to pay out of pocket for it, they say, fuck it, I'm not paying for the car anymore, so they just leave the car. That's why they have repos. It's not because they can't afford it, they just don't want to pay it. And this is why when I work with bad credit customers, I pretty much tell them to buy the warranty because they get approved on higher mileage cars. God forbid something was to happen, because things really do happen. If something happens, the warranty pays out. You're not paying out of pocket. I don't know about you guys, dishing out $4 or $5 grand for repair is crazy. So when you're
And it looks like the people in the comments are like, where have you been? Repos are because they can't afford the car. Warranty doesn't pay for anything. They always find an excuse not to cover it. So I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. He is obviously, I think he's a car salesman. So he wants you to, I don't know if they get more money when you tack on that warranty. I would assume that's why he's saying warranties are the ish that you need to add to your car. Do your research. Going to a car shop or doing anything with cars, especially buying one. I've never had to purchase my own. I just got mine from my mother and then paid off. She had me, be responsible and have like a $4,000 loan that I just paid her back over a year. Going to an actual car dealership, that's like my worst nightmare.
Don't be scared of that repo. Repos don't mean shit. I've had 3 repos. They'll finance you every single time, babe. That shit is not real. That is a matrix setup. They make you think that all these things are inaccessible if this stuff happens, but it's not true. Get that car, make the payment until you can't anymore, let them take it, stock up for 6 months, take a bus, go buy another car. Just like that. Just like that. After my most recent repo, my credit actually went up like 80 points. And it never went back down. Like, what? I'm like, all right, this ain't real.
And she's saying here, car repossessions are just simulated punishments. The system needs you back in debt, so they'll always refinance you. Shame is the trap. I mean, they do technically, in order for your credit score to flourish for whatever reason, obviously you still need to have debt. I had one repo, got divorced 5 years ago, dropped my credit to 400. Here I am thriving and single with a 720 score. That's brilliant. They will absolutely finance you, but you do get punished with insane interest rate. Yep, there's the thing. Because when your credit score drops, then they're like, well, are you going to pay it? So we're going to make your interest rate just skyrocket, which I understand you should reward the people with better credit scores. But oh my goodness, it's like, if you're poor in this country, how do you get by? Like, we have watched a lot of videos on this channel on this sort of stuff. Like, you can't really get by in this country with a bad credit score. It's just so difficult.
They can't find your car in 180 days, which is 6 months, all right? They're going to have to charge it off. They're going to stop trying to repo the car, and now they're going to mark the account as charged off.
I don't know if it's true. A lot of the comments here are saying this is not true at all. No, they will not. I work in repossessions. They are getting their stuff. Nah, they chased my brother for 4 years and finally got him. At what point, though, is it just like out of pettiness? Like, I'm going to get your car. Like, obviously, they need to get that car back, but jeez Louise. Pay for your cars, people. Oh no, me, literally just a girl getting my car repossessed. It looks like a nice Jeep too. Is that a Jeep Cherokee? I'm not a car girly, so correct me in the comments. I paid off my car early and my credit dropped over 100 points, so I don't know, friend. That's messed up. No, I agree, that is messed up. And I always have this theory is they like to have you in debt for your credit score to go up because at some point they can take your money, right? They need you to at least be a part of the system indefinitely, it seems, in order for your credit to go up, which is really annoying. I know I did a video on student loans and a lot of people are like, maybe put off paying off your student loans because they still want you to accrue that interest on your loan. It's a messed up system. It sounds honestly very dystopian. I really dislike the people who introduced the credit score. You honestly, my friend, should probably belong in HE double hockey sticks, okay? Because what an unfair system. Well, you need to keep having, a revolving line of credit and then that you show them that you're able to pay your bills off every month. Some people just want to use cash. I know you watching probably just want to use cash, but you gotta stay in the system, it seems like.
What money? Oh, wait a minute. You talking about the money? The money that I owe you. I'm gonna pay you, man. Look at me, man. You know I'm gonna pay you.
I just paid mine after they started calling 3 times a day. LMAO, that repo man was on the way, baby. Oh no. I have never gotten my car repossessed before. That is absolutely terrifying. I for one, absolutely despise stuff like this. I understand you need to get your money back, but for me, it's a really tricky topic because cars are so integral to just making money in this country. Unless you live in like New York City, Chicago, maybe San Francisco with the BART, with the, somewhere with good public transportation, you need a car in order to get to your job. Even if that's just like a minimum wage job. You at home probably, let me know, seriously, in the comments, if you do not need a car to get to your job. Maybe you work from home, but then even then, in order to buy stuff like groceries, maybe you do DoorDash your groceries. I know when I was very lazy and didn't want to go get groceries myself, I'm like, well, the gas basically just makes up for the tip. It does not, by the way, but is what it is. So this says, today my car was repossessed. At the time, I thought I was robbed and left in the Sam's Club parking lot with my 2 babies. Oh, this is so sad. This is very sad. Since everyone in the comments is so financially stable, buy her a car. Imagine maybe she could be a single mother, even people with dual income households. You know how hard it is to have children? And I'm working on a video where it's like parents versus child-free people, and I'll give you a little sneak peek, but it's like, why would I have children when I can barely afford to pay for myself, let alone 2 kids? Like, that's incredible.
How has life changed in the last 6-7 months?
Actually, pretty well. I don't have my vehicle anymore. I
What'd you
voluntarily repossessed that one. I talked with the bank for a while, and the car and the condition it was in, it was easier to voluntarily repossess it than try to catch back up on that loan.
What's your current car situation?
So I'm having a vehicle from the ranch. They did lend me a vehicle for a while that I'm paying the monthly insurance on.
Okay, what's that monthly insurance?
That is $160.
And how long are they going to allow this?
They haven't put a time limit on it, and I'm putting money towards buying a new vehicle right now.
Because I want to be prepared if they ever have to come and be like,
Yeah, I am putting money towards a new vehicle right now. There is savings now.
So it looks like she's in good hands, voluntarily repossessed her car because, maybe it wasn't a very good financial decision that she made. And now it looks like she's able to use her employer's car, which is great, and just pay the monthly insurance on that, which is probably a much better deal than whatever she was paying on her car, whether it be used or a new car. So good for her.
Y'all ever get y'all car repoed? Cause this my first time ever dealing with financial hardship so bad my car get repoed. They bag all your shit. They don't play. They clean the whole car out, but they up my shit. And then they write all this up here. This shit is so embarrassing. Oh my God, I don't never pray on nobody to ever experience what I'm dealing with right now.
I mean, it is a very humbling experience. Getting your car repoed is the most embarrassing financial hardship you can endure. I'm just glad I was able to get mine back. Yeah, I can't think of anything that might be more embarrassing. Oh, that's actually what can you think of that's more embarrassing? No, I mean embarrassing, not incredibly detrimental to yourself. Something that's incredibly detrimental is when you're going through divorce and then your spouse takes half of everything you ever earned in your life. That's very detrimental. It might be embarrassing, but you did all that you really could with the knowledge that you had and thought your relationship would go through. Now, embarrassing maybe like, oh, you know what would be a good one? Say you won the lottery and then you blow it within a year's time. I always think like that is so embarrassing, aside from the people who get taken advantage of by their family members. That's just being preyed on, right? You win the lottery, your family members, you're gonna find all sorts of people that you never met who are knocking on your door to get some money. Pay up.
Someone on TikTok said that her car got repoed even though she made all on-time payments. Now, when she said that, in my head, I'm like, how is that even possible? Like, you're literally fulfilling your loan. You're making your payments every single month. Out of curiosity, I asked her if she still had insurance on her car, and she said yes. So if she's making her on-time payments and she has full coverage insurance on the car, what's the issue? So it turns out that she was letting her car get rented on Turo. If you guys don't know what Turo is a platform where you can put your car on there and other people can rent it so you can make some money. Now, in her finance contract, when she originally got the car, there's a clause that says that you have to use the car for personal use, not business use. It also went on to say that the car could not be rented out. Somehow, some way, her lien holder found out that she was letting her car get rented out. Now, I had no idea this could even happen. I didn't think that Turo or the lien holder would go that far to try and figure out who's doing what with what car. And that's because there's simply just too many cars on the road to even keep track of all that. But nevertheless, her car ended up getting repoed because of this. Now, one thing that I'm so curious about is how does that show up on your credit if you made all your payments on time, but it's still a repo?
To answer his question, how they probably found that out is you could probably scrub that data on Turo, because you have to provide obviously your, like your VIN number and stuff like that can tie it to that car. So finding that data is probably not that difficult, especially if you have access to that data. I don't know how they gain access to that data, but we just honestly, we give away our data everywhere. Google has everything on us. Probably whatever website you go on, X, probably even McDonald's, if you have like the McDonald's app, has everything on you. So it's probably not that difficult to find out who exactly you are and what you're doing with your stuff. But girl, and if you're doing this too, like, unless you actually own it, like for example, I'm thinking of people who are trying to do some sort of rent Airbnb arbitrage where they have their apartment that they rent, but then they move out of that apartment, find somewhere cheaper, and then, especially if they're in a nicer location like Los Angeles, then they go on Airbnb and put that one up for rent by, tourists and such like that. So you get more money than you're putting into your apartment, right? But then if you get caught, like your lease contract is up and you're probably paying some sort of fee or fine or something for that. So please be careful if you're doing stuff like this.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're going to finance your car anywhere, get gap insurance. Get gap insurance. Even if the deal is get gap insurance. Even if the deal is amazing, get gap insurance. Gap insurance doesn't only cover if your vehicle is like a total loss and like it covers like whatever you're upside down on. It actually, if your car for any reason gets repossessed, so when your car gets repossessed, whatever balance you owe on your car, so to keep numbers simple, let's say you owe $30,000 on your car, right? The bank goes and takes your car, it repossesses your car and takes it to auction, and whatever amount they sell your car for, which is usually like a low amount, they deduct that from whatever balance you have. So let's say they sell your car for $12,000. They deduct those $12,000 from the $30,000 you owe. So now you have a repossession on your credit and you owe $18,000. If you have gap insurance, it'll cover those $18,000, which will leave your repossession at a zero. So if you go and try to finance a car again, yes, a repossession will be on your credit, which by the way will be 10 times more easier to remove if the balance is at zero, but I digress. You can literally negotiate with the dealership and be like, hey, yes, I have a repossession, but the balance is at zero because I paid it off.
So I've actually never heard of gap insurance before. So a definition is gap insurance is an optional low-cost auto coverage that bridges the difference between the car's depreciated actual cash value and the remaining loan or lease balance if the vehicle is totaled or stolen. It is critical for those with less than 20% down payment or long-term loans. So you can get that when you're doing a new car, leased vehicle, or when you owe more than the car is worth. And most major carriers, so it sounds like it's like $90 per year, which I think is good. That comes to be $7, $8 a month, which is really good. If you're someone who might get their car repossessed, had it happen to you before in the past, this might be something that is good for you to look into. And of course, if you're able to pay for it outright, then just do that instead.
It's actually really embarrassing sharing all of my problems with everyone to see how much I've up and all the mistakes that I've been making, but at the same time, it's my life and it's real, and I never like to make anything seem fake, and they are my problems and I'm learning from them. So if I could post them online for other people to see and other people to learn from, on today's agenda, I need to find a new insurance, because the one I was trying to get with the pictures at the tow yard, they wouldn't let me see my car and I can't afford it anyways. So looking for a cheaper insurance. Also, I got a call yesterday. I got a ticket 2 months ago that I forgot to pay, and I'm gonna have a warrant out for my arrest if I don't pay that. So my license is suspended, I don't have insurance, I have a warrant out for my arrest, and I have tickets to pay. Also, my car is hopefully not getting auctioned off because I can't get it out. So let's just pray that everything happens in good time. By the way, I got this ticket for going on my phone because I was looking for a gas station, and the cop pulled me over, and I was literally looking for a gas station. My car is running on E. He's like, I'm so sorry, like, just, here's your ticket, here's your fucking ticket. I can't make TikTok about it, I was crying. Anyways, it's not too expensive. You get a certain amount of checks on your driver's license or ID or whatever, and like, that's obviously not good. So if you pay with traffic school, it's more expensive, but it's less checks on your license, so I can't afford that though. My bank account has $302.33, and this ticket is $302.87.
Car repossessions are at their highest level since the Great Recession, with millions of Americans losing their vehicles.
So more Americans are missing their car payments. Why does this matter? What's significant about this? Well, what it means is that more Americans, more working class and middle income Americans, are really struggling to pay their bills. Cars are more expensive now, and car loan payments are higher, and people are really just crippled by these expanding costs to their families. And of course, it's not just that people are not able to make their car payments, but they're not able to afford their health care, they're not able to afford rent or their mortgage. This is in stark contrast to what the stock market is doing. The stock market seems to be going up and up, but it shows this great divergence in our economy where working class, middle income people are really struggling to get by, but the wealthy are spending, the wealthy are investing, the wealthy are doing just fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how it looks. And also with the cars, I think I made a video about it a month or two ago too, where used cars, you can't really find a good used car for less than $10,000. The market is absolutely insane. There is not going to be any sort of bubble that burst, it feels like. So do what you can to save up money and not get your car repossessed, because that is just, one, it costs money, and then you're going to be underwater on your loan, and all sorts of bad stuff just seems to tack on. Obviously, at some point you will, and I believe you truly will be able to climb out of that and become better, and you know, your credit score will recover and stuff like that. But in the short term, oh, what a pain.
So typically, guys, whenever you get your car repossessed, what happens is it has to be a specific amount of time that it was delinquent, typically between 90 and 120 days. After 120 days, by law, creditors have to charge off the loan, but they still will go after, and there still will be collection attempts on the debt, on the vehicle if you still have it, or if they repossessed it. Once it gets to the auction, you have about 15 to 20 days by law to either catch up on your current balance, they'll reactivate the loan, or if it's charged off, you have to pay the car off in full. After some time, let's say a year or two passes by, banks want their money. They don't want to go through courts, they don't want to sue you. They will sue you, but they just want to collect their money and then also defer and write off what they can for tax purposes. So if you are in repossession status, if you are late on your payments, understand that you need to communicate with your bank. Banks want you to keep the car. They want to keep that money flowing. So don't hide from the bank. And then at the end of the day, sometimes life happens and you got to just give the car back in. You don't need to go get another car. Just buy some cash, take the bus, thug it out. There's nothing wrong with that. Rebuild and just wait until you get into a better financial situation. And if you do need to get into a vehicle, understand you need to get a bankable car, a Honda, Toyota, or whatnot. Banks will give you a car if you have a pulse or a heartbeat or a social security number, whatever it is. Banks will lend to anybody, but just understand that it's going to affect you more than it's going to affect the bank, because you're going to have a high interest rate. You're going to be paying too much interest, not going to be paying the principal. You're going to be stuck in a negative equity situation. So understanding what you're getting yourself into is most important. The cycle's going to repeat. So repossessions, when they happen, make sure you stay on top of it. Make sure you're trying to pay the debt off as quick as possible. Talk to your bank. And at the end of the day, if you don't have the money, just let the bank know that. And maybe at a later point, they will settle for 50, 60, 80% off of the actual amount owed.
And here's a very important point to note. This comment says, I saw one person on here who didn't know that they still had to pay for the car after a repo. Just shows how important these education videos are. Exactly. And I think this is one of the most BS things. I can't even believe that this is like what you have to do. If your car is repossessed, you are responsible for paying the entire remaining loan balance, plus repo related fees, so towing, storage, auction prep. If the car sells for less than you owe, you must pay the deficiency balance. Total costs often include loan deficiency, the difference between the loan balance and the sale price, repossession fees, aka that cost for towing, storage, etc., and legal fees, so attorney fees are penalties for early termination. In order to get that car back before it is sold, you generally must reinstate the loan by paying for the past due amount, late fees, and the repo fees. If you cannot pay this in full, the lender sells the vehicle and you are sued for the remaining deficiency. You still have to pay for the remaining balance of the loan. So if they sell it for less, like what that guy said, you know, 30,000 is what the car costs, and then the bank sells it for 12, you owe 18 on what? On nothing? Like, you don't have anything. And that's not even including the towing fees and legal fees and stuff like that. What an awful deal. So please make sure you are able to get your car back. Of course, there are ways where you can sidestep that. Is obviously if you're just not going to pay for your loan and then it leaves your credit report, I believe it's after 7 years, your credit score is going to take a massive hit. But I guess that's one way to skirt by it. Like, again, do what's best in your financial interests. But what do you guys think? Have you ever had your car repossessed? Have you ever gotten close to having your car repossessed? Like, this is absolutely insane to me. If you liked the video, consider subscribing. I am almost to 400 subscribers. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you really want to support the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.